I'll start the video out by just saying it. I do not want Kyrie Irving to return to the Brooklyn Nets. While that may sound crazy and the Nets will need star power if they want to return to title contention status, I do not think they can currently compete for a title with a top duo of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And I think based on the results we've seen thus far, it's time to blow up the KD and Kyrie duo and to see if there's any way you can bring in other talent to surround Kevin Durant. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, then make sure to give it a like because it helps out a lot. And if you're new to the channel and or enjoy the Nets or the NBA, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. So I get that you need star power in order to win in the NBA, but the Nets have not been able to reap the fruits of their labor ever since we've seen the KD and Kyrie team up in 2019 and eventually step on the court together for the first time in 2020. Now, I think it's also important to note that the roster has seen an influx of changes ever since Kyrie and KD teamed up, as Spencer Dinwiddie suffered an injury, and then they traded a load of players along with draft picks, including Jarrett Allen, Karis LeVert, and Taurean Prince for James Harden in early 2021. And then less than a year later, the Nets traded Harden for Ben Simmons, who didn't suit up for the Nets during the 2021-22 season, and the Nets would eventually end up getting swept by the Eastern Conference champion Boston Celtics. Now, with all three of Simmons, Irving, and Durant on the floor, the Nets have a record of 1-5 with them together, which is not good whatsoever. I understand that Ben Simmons isn't playing like the Ben Simmons of old, and the Nets are riding on him returning to older form, but still, the team does not look great whatsoever when those three men are on the court together. In terms of other records, though, let's look at Durant's tenure since arriving in Brooklyn. Durant with the Nets has a record of 65-39 overall, a record of 8-2 when he had the big three of Harden, KD, and Kyrie, 14-5 as a solo act, 22-11 with Harden only, and 21-21 with only Kyrie. The Nets have also held their opponents to fewer than 100 points in 5 of their last 7 games with Jacque Vaughn, and that is very telling, as it seems like the Nets have been better with Durant running the show along with Vaughn rather than Irving, Simmons, and Durant, which is not good whatsoever. The Nets are playing like a well-oiled machine right now, despite their loss against the Lakers on Sunday, which I would attribute to the guys possibly being out late, since this is the only trip they'll take to LA this season since they played the Clippers the day prior. But I do think every player seems to be aware of their role right now within the team, and I'm not sure how Kyrie coming back would change all of that. It also doesn't seem like Kyrie coming back is a guarantee, whether it's this from Shams right here that makes it seem like Irving might not return to the team at all, or just for an indefinite time period. And I feel if Kyrie hasn't completed his tasks that were assigned to him as of right now, then I truly don't know if he will do so, if at all, especially when he's had players and friends from around the league push back against the Nets for the demands of Irving that they've given him. Also, a bit of an update while I was recording this, I saw this tweet about Kyrie pushing the NBPA to file a grievance for him back on the Nets so he can get on the court sooner rather than actually doing the tasks themselves. So to me, it seems like Irving will not be following Joe Tsai and the Nets' requests, and he's going to do whatever he can to get back on the court without actually doing them. And we'll see what that entails, and we'll see if that means he's playing for another team the next time he steps on an NBA court. It also seems the Philadelphia 76ers will do whatever they can to try and acquire Kevin Durant in a trade. I don't know if this is news unless it's reported that the Nets themselves are actually interested in moving Durant, which I'm not sure if they are as of right now, and I don't think they'll ever admit that because it could diminish the return that they receive back in a trade. But there is clearly interest out there once again for Durant, and I'm not sure if that ever really subsided because we're talking about Kevin Durant. But it'll be interesting to see if the Brooklyn Nets can receive a trade package back that they're satisfied with for Durant if they do in fact go through with trading him. At the end of the day, though, I think this season is yet a purgatory type season for the Brooklyn Nets. You had a purgatory type year in the 19-20 season while you were awaiting Kevin Durant's return in the following season. Last season, it felt kind of the same way while you were awaiting Kyrie to return full time and Ben Simmons to return from injury. And now it feels like the Nets are waiting for this season to be over in order to move on from Kyrie or just figure out if they're blowing it up or not and rebuilding, which is not great when Kevin Durant is 34 years old and will be 35 by the time the season starts next season, and you don't know how much time is left on either receiving a lot back in the trade package for him or just competing for a title with Kevin Durant on your roster. I made a video prior to last season saying that I felt the Nets championship window was over, and what do you know? Kyrie Irving was a part-time player up until March 27th, 2022, and James Harden was traded 2 months prior. And with the results we've seen out of Durant, Irving, and Simmons together, it looks like the Nets' best bet is to cash in right now on what they can get for Irving and Simmons, or hell, maybe even Kevin Durant as well, unless they can get solid pieces in return to help Kevin Durant compete for a title. The only problem I still have with that is that I stand on the point I made prior to the season, which is I don't see a single team beating the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and maybe even the entire NBA playoffs in general. And now the Bucks are 10-3 while awaiting the returns of Holiday, Connaughton, and their sharpshooter Chris Middleton. After the Nets got eliminated from the 2021 NBA playoffs, I said it feels like the team will never win an NBA championship, and I do still stand by that. Whether it's the team being cursed by injuries dating all the way back to the J. Kidd Vince Carter era, historically bad trades, injuries to two members of their big three during the span of 3 games in their 2021 playoff series against the Bucks, a once-in-a-generation pandemic, or players doing things that end up in suspensions. This Nets franchise has been cursed ever since they joined the NBA as a result of the ABA-NBA merger, and this was a piece of an article dating back to June 2002 talking about the Nets NBA Finals, which was upcoming at the time, and it seems like the Nets as a franchise since joining the NBA is summed up perfectly here. They have mired in dreadfulness ever since joining the NBA in 1976, and nearly 47 years later, that statement still stands. If you're a Nets fan watching this, I would love to tell you things will eventually get better, but I'm not sure I can say they will. The Nets have played beautiful basketball as of late, but they're doing it with $70 million invested in players who have been on the bench currently and only one superstar currently playing. The Nets have been a lot of fun lately and are talented as hell, but you're not beating top seeds in the Eastern Conference with this team that we've currently seen ever since Jacque Vaughn has taken over as the head coach. And even when Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving are both in the lineup, we saw how the Nets were worse with a record of 1-5 to begin the season, as mentioned before. And with winning and results being the only thing that matters, I think you need to look at the results we've seen thus far and take into account what needs to be done for the sake of this roster that is best for the team's chances of eventually winning an NBA title, whether that be in 5, 10, or 15 seasons from now. Whatever the Nets choose to do, I will always be a fan and root for this franchise, but it feels like they currently are just delaying the inevitable as of right now. I really don't know what else there is for me to say about this situation, but I do want to know what you guys think about this Nets team, the current situation they're in, or any of their players down below in the comment section. If you like this video, then make sure to give it a like because it helps out a lot. And if you're new to the channel and or enjoy the Nets or the NBA, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you stay up to date with all the newest content on my channel. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm SCJ, and I am out. Peace.